back to Monday all weekend, everybody. We got some topics, we got some things, and we got a lot of people waiting to interact with us in the chat.
Do we?
Yeah.
Do we? How are you fellas this evening? And how is
Good.
everybody? How's everybody doing? It's been
Tired.
tired.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
it's been, but
Josh
it's
got
doing.
pranked big
got-
time.
Oh
Pretty hilarious.
yeah.
Pretty funny. This guy was like, "Hey, I need to clean up this class. Will you go grab a broom?" And Josh goes to grab a broom and he drives away.
That's the worst.
It's pretty funny.
Somebody did
I
that
laugh.
to me. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's always funny if it's not happening to you.
Well,
Yeah.
Josh was pretty upset, but I was in my room and I was just laughing.
Yeah. So we got some pretty cool stuff tonight. We're obviously going to be discussing Rings of Power some. We're going to be discussing a little bit of the new trailer. We're going to be doing a review of that. But before we get to that, is there anything as far as noteworthy with movie news or movie related stuff that you guys have been interested in, wanting to
boy.
bring up, right?
Uh,
Because I feel like there's a lot going on with
There's
Snow
a
White,
lot.
right?
Yeah, there's a lot happening. A lot happening with Disney stuff. A lot happening with Marvel right now. A lot happening. Oh, geez, what did I hear about recently that was going on?
I know
Star
that
Wars stuff.
Star Wars. There's
I
been
keep
some
saying
controversy.
stuff. I
Always-
keep saying
always.
stuff, but it all happens to be Disney stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. Either
Well,
Marvel,
everything's Disney controversy
Star
right now.
Wars,
Mm-hmm.
or their live action.
Disney seems to be kind of a hot topic right now, especially even with some of their legal stuff
Right.
that's going on.
They're doing it in the background.
Yeah, their legal stuff. We're gonna cover one of those topics tonight. But yeah, they seem to be in hot water. I think the only thing good that's happened to Disney anytime recently is Deadpool and Wolverine, and
Inside Out too.
and Inside Out too.
Inside
It's
Out
weird
2,
because it's
snuck
like you
under
got
the radar.
Marvel, Disney, and Disney Pixar, right? Those things are kind of working for them this summer, and they have a lot of bads. I feel like Disney has been in the topics of the internet for so much this summer, this year, really. Disney has
Yeah.
been just a focus because of the Nelson Peltz thing, just the controversy around Star Wars and Marvel, and just like the huge flops, just epic flops. So, but we're going to be taking a look at another predicted, situation here. We're going to be getting into the Rings of Power trailer, the new season 2 trailer. We reacted to, I guess, sort of the teaser trailer, you might call it, but this is the actual trailer, right? So that's what we're going to be taking a look at. We're going to be doing a review, and hopefully this I don't know, when you guys watched this trailer, right? Did it enlighten anything to you regarding, is this going to be better? Does it bring up any parts of the Middle Earth story that makes you interested in this at all? Or does it just seem kind of rotten?
I don't know. I mean, the visuals look okay. They're dark, but they look okay. And I don't feel like any emotion whatsoever to any of it. Except for it's just kind of, the visuals look okay, but they're kind of dark.
I would say that's probably going to be the majority of people's opinion on this. I feel no emotions towards this. I guess really people who are really hardcore into this I don't like it. I'm not. Again, I do feel apathy. Same as Josh. And then I'm sort of finding a lot of it amusing. Especially if you're paying attention to the trailer, and there's tons of stuff in this trailer that we can break down, and some stuff we will break down, but there's specifically one scene where they show like happiness and children running around a fountain, and they use a stock kids laughing noise.
Right.
Do they?
It
I didn't
is
catch
a
that.
stock sound effect.
Almost like what's the yell? The
Yeah. It's used that much. It is
what do
a
you call
stock
that? There's a
sound
name for
effect.
that.
Oh, the Wilhelm
Yeah, the
scream.
Wilhelm scream.
It's the same. There's a certain specific kind of like babies cry that they
Yeah.
use stock sound effect. This is the little kids laughing and running
Yeah.
around stock sound effect, and I
Yeah.
love it. It's If
Oh,
you
you love
if
it.
I love it, dude. It's
Yeah.
awesome. It's one of my favorite things.
I don't know. The overarching theme with this is there's a ton of Celebrimbor in this, right?
Mhm.
There's a ton of Anatar / Sauron / Halbrand's relationship with Celebrimbor, and that's interesting that they're kind of side. It makes me wonder how much do you actually think this is? Okay, here's a thought that I have. Do you think they're relying so much on Celebrimbor's relationship with Anatar is because that is somewhat lore based, and they're like for the
Yeah,
trailer, they're
they
like
have to.
pulling away from showing all the other parts of it?
Mhm.
One thing I'm noticing, except for literally like a couple shots in the first teaser and one shot in this trailer, is the whole Harfoot narrative. We see one close-up shot of Nori, I think, in this
Mhm.
trailer, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that character was in it, but it wasn't. They weren't very prominent in the first season. I mean, what did they do in the first season?
I
I don't
they
feel like a lot.
I
They
mean, they didn't do a lot, but they were in the first
they
season.
were in a
Like,
lot.
every time they showed the Harfoots. But
Sure.
what you're gonna remember about the first season is nobody really does anything a lot. Every time they would switch back to somebody's character, you would be like, what's happening? When is something gonna happen?
Yeah.
And so no, the Harfoots didn't feel like interesting characters because nothing interesting happened with them.
Yeah. Do you guys feel like our biggest concern with a lot of shows that are not Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon is everything feels clean? Do you feel like this trailer is too clean I know we probably talked about this last season, but how do you feel about the cleanness of this season? Of everybody's outfits, they're supposed to feel dirty because they're in the wild, but really they just feel clean and then fake dirty.
It
Like
feels
they
try
give us
hardy.
and
Like you have it
sponge
paused
dirt
right
on.
here. You have it paused right here on this frame. Feels try hardy.
Yeah, her hair is perfectly done, and it's like she's just there.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the aesthetic of this prison. Feels
Right.
try hardy. It's too orcish. It's too
Yeah.
malformed. It's too malformed.
Yeah.
It's too uneven. Dirt. What?
Wait, go
Can
back
you
to
go
that
back
shot.
to the
Go back to that
screen
shot.
shot? I've seen that a couple times. Ah! She hit one of
It's
these.
just one flash frame in the trailer.
That's
That
incredible.
is
Full
fun.
screen. Full screen that one.
Full screen it. Okay.
That is incredible.
Yeah, I think well, you're right. I do think it is definitely feels
And
try hardy, right?
Mhm.
With the look of everything. I will say, watching this trailer with the issue of it's trying really hard. It's trying to make this really heavy, saturated Middle Earth vibe, right? But I'll just say this. There's a few shots in here that still feels like season 1, but season 1 felt entirely like dress up.
Yeah.
At least the sets and the clothes and the aesthetic of this feels a little less so that way to me, at least in this trailer.
Okay.
Feels
Counter
a little
question.
less.
Does any of it feel like Lord of the Rings? Oh, there it is. Go back.
Oh,
The kid's laughing.
was it?
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Okay, let
If
me
you-
play that with
Right.
sound.
Yeah, right here. You
I
hear
heard it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the kids sound that they put in all the horror movies, right?
yeah, the horror movie.
And no,
that
any
sound
kids playing.
Right.
Watch anything with kids playing. They have it. It's a bunch of kids going. The same sound effect. $1 billion series, ladies and gentlemen.
right.
Rings of Power, the most expensive series ever made using stock sound effects.
stock
Nice.
sound
No,
effects.
Really
and
cool.
their
They
sound
couldn't-
mixing team is top notch too. Top
Yeah,
notch.
well, they couldn't take the time to like record kids laughing, or even
No.
record those kids laughing.
I
I know, we
honestly
can
think
find the kids.
I don't know. I think this is it's a stock sound effect. I think so. I keep seeing articles that everyone's like, this is a thriller. It's changing genres. All right. This season is a thriller kind of creepy vibe, which is why we get this shot of Celebrimbor looking in the mirror and his like reflection changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're putting off kind of like this thriller suspense kind of
Yeah.
nature to it, and less
Yeah,
of like an
that's
epic
ridiculous.
fantasy drama.
Well,
And
if you're focusing on Sauron or Anatar, it should be creepy. It should feel unsettling. But what it feels to me like is course correcting. They're trying to switch things up from how it was last season. They're trying to go like, oh well, we have to make this more like what people know. People complained
Right.
so much about this last time. They're like, people need to be more familiar with what's happening.
Mhm.
And it feels like too little too late.
What do you think is the deal with the crown? I mean, they keep showing it in the previous teaser, in this one. What's the deal
Rememberberry.
with it? Is it
It's
just they're trying to
Rememberberry.
insert it? Like even this last little sword maneuver here at the end of the
Mhm.
trailer with Galadriel. He uses the crown to his advantage, right?
Yeah, it's retarded. Is what it is.
I think what it is, it's not supposed to be a crown. He's probably trying to create something, and then it ultimately becomes the crown as like a Rememberberries type thing. It's like, oh, you know that famous crown that we all kind of picture as his crown. Well,
From
Yeah.
Peter Jackson trilogy.
this is what it started off as. It was supposed to be like this thing, and then it became the crown that he wears.
Yeah,
as
iconography.
the one ruler, the one the one ring owner, you know.
The guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's I don't get it. People for some reason have Hollywood has this weird fetish with like headgear and it being like people using crowns and helmets and stuff when they fight. I want to say they've done this in like 3 different projects where somebody's using a crown or a helmet or something and fight. I know they do it in Marvel. Loki like takes off his Loki thing and starts hitting people with it, something stupid like that. And I want to say there's some other.
Well, in the
something-
Acolyte recently, Smilo Ren uses his Smilo helmet to block lightsabers.
He does use his Smilo helmet. Yeah. So, okay. So there's another example. And then I want to say there's one more. There's something else where somebody is using their crown or whatever as like a weapon or blocking something. I don't know. But it's stupid and I hate it.
Oh,
the
you
headgear.
made it? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think ultimately this trailer doesn't make me feel better, right? And then there's that there's just so much that we're expecting. There's so many articles about they're already starting to sneak in the insinuations that people like us who negatively review something is racist, sexist, homophobic for some reason, but they haven't introduced any gay characters yet. So I don't know where that one's coming from.
They've already said that you've already seen them.
I've already seen the gay characters.
That's what they said. They
The
said
elf.
that you've
It's the
already
elf.
seen them.
I'm putting my money on the elf.
Which
the
one?
black elf guy.
The black
No,
elf guy had a
he's-
romance with a woman in the first season.
Yeah,
Oh,
with
did he?
with
I
the
don't even
dirty,
remember the first season.
heavy-chested human woman.
Oh, then it's Nori and Dory, the Harfoots. They're
Yeah.
lovers.
Probably. There you go. I think you're thinking in the right direction.
Nori and Dory. What's their names actually?
Nori and Dory is
Oh,
you got
Nori
it.
and
It
Dory.
doesn't
gay
matter what
lesbian
the other one's name is.
lovers.
It's Nori and Dory.
I don't know. I think it's that queen lady of Numenor. I think that's probably it.
Ooh, that's a good guess too.
I think she's black and lesbian, and it's exactly what Hollywood just loves to insert.
I mean,
Black women lesbians. It's their favorite. Anyways, I think that ultimately this is not accomplishing this is not accomplishing any kind of hype. Have you guys seen any positive reviews of this trailer? Any positive reactions to this trailer? Anything good, Or is everyone
No.
just kind of like, don't care, or I freaking hate this? It's just more
I will
garbage.
say, however, I don't typically wade in the more, I don't know what they would call themselves. I know what we would call that side of the
Okay.
pond. The more shill media, where it's just people excited because thing on screen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know what we call what other people, I guess more people might call it like a less serious take on this guy. I don't wade in those ponds.
Okay.
I stay in this area.
You stay
Right.
in this pond.
Right. And over there, I'm sure there's probably a couple more people who are like, yeah, this is trailer. This is Lord of the Ring. This is Rings of Power trailer. There's Rings of Power in this trailer and a crown.
My goodness. I don't know exactly what this season's going to be. I do know we're probably going to look at this later, not on this live, but maybe another time. They introduced the Stores, and that's a whole thing. And the Stores, according to lore, it's just constant breaking. A lot of people are speculating that Celeborn's going to be in this season. I don't know if that's true. I don't think they can backtrack like that at this point after season 1, not that far. And so we'll just have to. Tom Bombadil's all over the place, and no one is happy about that. No one's
I
excited.
don't think even Bombadil's happy about it.
No,
the jolliest character in the books, and he hasn't smiled once.
Right.
I
Right.
think
Any of the material I've
promotional
seen him
material.
I think they're gonna put him in there way more than they're supposed to, just because they want to be like, this character. This character that's fun. Here we go.
And he's gonna be like, this is really serious. You Gandalf the Grey, you are the one. You are a key here. You need to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen.
What's the line that Gandalf says when they're in the caves on the first movie? When they lost their way, and he just kind of smells the sun. I have a feeling he's gonna have that line. Like they
already have
changed that line and put.
They've
that
already
in.
put it. It's already in Rings of Power.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the end of his end scene in the first season. He said sometimes you just need to follow your nose.
Yeah. The not Gandalf character.
I mean, it is big enough.
Were you talking about that line, or are you talking about the?
Yeah, that's the line I was talking about. I apparently forgot the whole first season because I
don't remember any of it.
I thought you were referencing the all that matters is what we do with the time that we have.
That's been given to us.
I mean, that too.
Yeah, the time that's been given
too.
to us. Exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if that's in there, probably from Tom Bombadil or from one of the Harfoots.
Right.
Would be my guess, or from Galadriel, or from somebody else, or from another woman, probably Disa. And then she's gonna say the line.
Is that a face where she's like mourning, or is she doing another chanting song?
I have no idea, but that was the best frame in the whole trailer.
I don't know, dude. That one frame of Celebrimbor just
what have you done to me?
Just like crying.
Have you guys
what have you done to me? What have you done to me?
You guys know Spike from Land Before Time?
Yeah.
You know where I'm getting at? That photo.
Yes.
Yeah.
My
Yes,
goodness.
she is Spike from Land Before Time. That's a good reference.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
So
I knew it was something.
Some other stuff that we want to talk about is we want to hit Kraven the Hunter. So I'll throw it to Wyatt to introduce this next topic.
So the most recent Sonyverse film that hasn't come out yet, but we've got a new trailer for it, is Kraven the Hunter, and it's gonna save it. It's gonna save the whole thing. That's what everybody's wondering. Is it gonna turn around their what are they calling it? The Venomverse, the Morbiaverse,
the super villain Marvels, right?
Yeah. So Sony has been doing this weird villain thing, and also Madam Web, and Kraven the Hunter is
it's the next installment of it.
The next
right?
one,
and
it's an excuse to have another rated R superhero movie, and because they think people want that, which they kind of want that, but none of it's dumb.
No.
Well, that's what we want to take a look at. Is after seeing the trailer, going through, let's just discuss: is this a potential winner for the Sony supervillain movies? Right? Because just listen to this real quick. So, Venom 1 got a 30% tomato meter rating. All right. Venom, Let There Be Carnage got 57. All right. Morbius got 15%, and then Madam Web got 11%.
Awesome.
So we have had nothing but stinkers this entire time. And so what I'm trying to figure out is, looking at the trailer, does this hold any promise for you guys? Are you looking at this and being like, there might be something here? Yes, it seems like Joshua said an excuse to do a rated R violent film. However, could it be actually cool, with Aaron Taylor Johnson, and is there any hope for this?
I really like Aaron Taylor Johnson, and even when I had never seen any of the Kick-Ass movies, and we watched them semi recently, within the past year, we watched them, and I like them. I mean, I like them for him because of his character. I like Aaron. I like that character, and I like him. So I'm looking forward to it only because of that.
But are you actually looking forward to it? Like, are you actually excited about this movie in any shape, in any way? Right? Is there anything?
I mean, Russell Crowe,
maybe.
Is Russell Crowe in this?
He is. You didn't see the trailer?
The new trailer has
completely
is Russell Crowe. He's playing his dad or something, isn't he?
Yeah. He's playing like his some kind of mob boss dad, right? And I'm not a super big fan of the comics, so I couldn't tell you exactly the origin of Kraven the Hunter. But
comments if you know Kraven the Hunter.
There's also the element of, they pushed back the release date for this movie to December 13th, which means it's coming out not the same weekend, but rather the same day as Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim. So it's going to have a little bit of competition. It originally was going to be earlier, and then they kept pushing it back due to the strikes, right?
Yeah.
Are we still on strike now? Are the voice actors still on strike? Have you guys heard?
I don't know. I haven't checked up.
I've heard nothing. I've heard nothing about that.
Yeah. So I'm not sure about Kraven. I don't think it's going to be a good movie. We haven't had anything that would make me confident that it would be a good movie. The director is basically, I haven't heard of any of his movies. And granted, I'm not huge into the indie film kind of market, so if there are indie films on there that are recognized and appreciated, I haven't seen them, so I couldn't tell you. But we've got one writer that worked on some stuff.
Yeah. Richard Wenk. I can't say his last name. Wenk. Richard, he did movies like the Equalizer 1, 2, and 3. He also has done Expendables 2. So he's action writer, right?
Action writer.
Which, I think,
the main nothing wrong with that. Especially for an action movie. And then the other writer, as I think one of them, the other writers worked on like Iron Man, and then some like terrible action movies.
Yeah,
Like,
some Transformers,
Transformers, and oh
but
gosh, I can't even
not
remember the
super
other ones.
well known writers or director here, right? There's not, so it's kind of a wild card, you might say.
But they seem to be hinging their success on this film.
Well, I don't know, dude.
They have to be.
With this many failures that I've already listed, it's gone failure after failure after failure. Can this actually turn it around? It might be a good film. Are people actually going to watch it, or are people just going to be super critical because it's like, well, we haven't seen anything good come out of this Sony villain franchise at all. Literally from when they started, we haven't seen anything amazing, right?
Yeah. Nothing.
So the question there is, can it actually save this franchise, or is it going to be done after this one, or are they going to keep doing it?
Well,
going to
they've
keep
got the
trying
other Venom movie.
They'll do it again. It just, yeah, it feels like a Venom movie. This feels
Venom
like them
3?
trying to do a different version of Venom. But Hardy's better. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
So I've heard Kraven is supposed to be like Ra's al Ghul for Spider-Man. He's the you know, he's kind of like the super intelligent you know, pulling strings type villain. He's scary because of his physical prowess and his single-mindedness, but he's also intelligent and crafty, and they I know that they did a Kraven the Hunter storyline in the most recent PlayStation Spider-Man game,
Right.
and that's his character in that too, is crafty and single-minded. But I don't think this is going to have any of that. I can't see. I know there's the Rhino. They got the Rhino in it.
Yeah, there was a Rhino in the trailer, or at least the dude that is there's a moment like the Rhino flips a car up or something, right? So,
and I guess he's getting bit by like a radioactive lion or something, and gets lion powers. I mean, I have no idea.
I think so. This gives me the vibe that's on the surface, the trailer doesn't look bad. However, Madam Web's trailer didn't look awful. It wasn't great, but it wasn't awful like the movie. In the same way that Morbius's trailer looked somewhat interesting, and the same way that Venom 1 looks somewhat interesting, and all these just got a horrible rating or a horrible box office. So I think we will obviously we will see what happens, but my prediction is that this is not going to, this is especially around Christmas. It's like it is right before Christmas.
It's not going to move the needle.
It's not going to move the needle in the slightest. And in fact, I think it's just going to be forgotten. And I think everyone's going to go watch potentially War of the Rohirrim, and then we're just going to not even see this movie. It'll come out on streaming and people will leave their ratings online, or I don't think there's going to be much buzz around this movie at all. It's going to be kind of like it's going to be like the Rebel Moon director's cuts.
I hope people, I mean, I don't think it's going to get nearly the amount of conversation that Madam Web got. Madam Web got a ton of conversation because of how bad it was. Whereas I don't think this one is going to get the same kind of attention unless it's like really, really bad.
Which I did want to bring up something Dakota Johnson actually said, because you brought up, Madam Web so bad. It got so much attention. It was so bad. We're getting a lot of, she did this extensive interview, right, with the Bustle, whoever they are. And she said something interesting I just wanted to throw out there because it's actually, I think, a pretty good take, right? In view of what happened with Madam Web, right? She said, "My feeling has been for a long time that the audiences are extremely smart, and executives have started to believe they are not. Audiences will always be able to sniff out BS. And also she wasn't surprised by the way it was going to go down, right? As far as the bad reviews.
Mhm.
And I think that's actually very respectable because she's literally saying audiences kind of know what's good. They definitely know what's good. They're very smart. Executives are assuming they're not smart and starting to interject all of this nonsense into these stories, or just writing poor stories for beloved IPs. And it's ultimately disrespectful to the fans who know what they want, who know what they're looking for, right?
Yeah. Which is funny because I've always kind of assumed that she was a little bit of an idiot based on the interviews that I've seen with her, where she really does kind of seem like a ditz. But these comments seem like she at least understands
I don't
what's
know.
going on with the movies. She
Right.
gets that it's like it's the audience. It's the
Yeah.
audience. The audience makes or break your movie. You have to sell it to them. Not only do you have to have a really good campaign for your movie, make people want to watch it, but you have to have a good movie that people want to watch. And
Right.
what I think doesn't get talked about enough isn't a movie's opening weekend. Every once in a while you get a film like Deadpool and Wolverine where the ticket sales in the opening weekend is just massive, it's unprecedented. But a lot of films, most films I would say, thrive off of word of mouth. That's what sells a movie, because it's not like Top Gun Maverick. I don't think it had a ton of expectation. It didn't have a ton of opening weekend, like huge success the way something like Oppenheimer or Barbie or Deadpool and Wolverine had. But people went and watched it. They enjoyed it. And then they spread it to all of their friends, and everybody else went and saw it. The
Right.
word of mouth, even if you don't have a strong opening weekend, is what keeps your movie going throughout its life in the box office. And that's what ultimately makes it money. So you can have a big opening weekend, but if you don't have anybody talking about it and nobody cares and nobody wants to see it, it's not going to be a success.
That makes sense. That all makes really good sense. And I think you put it very well. And I also think Dakota put it very well, right? So I let us know in the comments what you guys think about Kraven the Hunter, because we still have a long way before this movie's released. We have quite a few months ahead of us. I'm sure more content's going to be dripping out here and there. But I want to hear what you actually feel. Do you think that Kraven the Hunter can actually save this villain franchise? Is my question, right? So let us know. Let us know down there. I'd appreciate it.
Dripping?
Yeah.
Just dripping, man.
Dripping
poor
out?
choice of words, my guy.
I know. See, I
My-
know in your head it's kind of like an IV drip, but
You guys are
dripping.
5 years
all
old.
I'm thinking of is
like
you making like
Dripping
a
is a
turkey,
real word.
and the fat from the turkey is
just
like dripping out. It's
dripping.
like
Ugh.
when you after you put it in the refrigerator and it's turned like gelatinous too. It's just like bloop, and it's
Yeah.
like you
I
like
swear,
touch a little bit
Joshua's
of it.
brain is the weirdest brain
Hmm.
on the face of the earth.
No, Wyatt's here for
Yeah,
with me.
like that
Wyatt's
scene
here with me.
in Mrs. Doubtfire when he's got the cake on his face and it just
Yeah.
dripped off his face into the lady's coffee.
Yeah.
That's what
I'm
I'm
here with
thinking.
you. Yeah.
Is it? It's a real analogy word. I'm not going to be shamed for
I'm
this.
just saying, no, I'm not shaming you. It was a little bit.
I feel a bit shamed.
I
Little.
mean, you should be.
I feel a little shamed. Let's go ahead and jump on this last bit because this is pretty crazy. You guys are not
Okay.
going to believe this at all. This is
I think
absolutely nuts.
I think we can believe it.
So apparently, there's a man who wants to sue Disney because his wife died at the park, not at the parks, but at the hospital
Mhm.
after she was at the parks having a meal in Disney World, right?
Mhm.
And she requested that her allergies be taken very seriously. And they said, yes, there's nothing that you've given us your list of allergies. It's going to be in this food. She ends up dying from having an allergic reaction. Have you guys heard this story?
Mhm.
Not at all.
I know even they from what I heard that they did their research on like where they went to eat
Mm.
to make sure that, the allergy stuff was taken care of, that it was important.
Yeah.
Which is, what you do with somebody with allergies, especially if they're allergies that can potentially kill them. You double check, you triple check, and so I'm sure they knew the restaurant, took that into consideration, and then I'm sure that they said something to the staff. So the last thing that you expect to happen.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm about to be. I mean, this story, it caught your eye, and you explained the headline to me, and you're about to finish what the headline says, and then you're going to be like, wait, what? But it's not out of the normal for someone to eat something they're allergic to. They swell up, start choking, and then they end up dying from it. It's not unnormal for that to happen. It's not good at all, but it's not unnormal.
It's not
But the
unheard
next
of.
part, it's not unheard of, but the next part of this article is very much.
But it's not like I don't think it's like she started to have a reaction there. She didn't pass away until later.
At the hospital.
Was it at the hospital? Because I thought it was at the hotel.
It was at the hospital. They went to the hospital because
Okay.
she was having an allergic reaction. She died
What
at
is
the
this?
hospital.
What is this article all about? Because
So
it's
the
not just
husband,
about the
yeah,
food.
yeah, let me get to it. So the husband is wanting to sue Disney because it was negligence resulting in the loss of his wife.
Absolutely.
All right. And
On the part of the
apparently,
restaurant.
Disney is saying that he has no legal action or legal grounds for a lawsuit because when he signed up for Disney Plus, he hit agree to the terms of service, and that completely removes his ability, apparently, to sue Disney for this, which is nuts. That's absolutely
It is
insane.
nuts.
For
That's
something that
absolutely
happened
insane.
in the park, he can't sue them because of a subscription service.
Because of
Correct.
a free trial that he signed up for
On his PlayStation, exactly.
on
Years
his
ago.
PlayStation.
Years ago.
And hit accept to the terms of service.
So,
Right, so-
go ahead and read the article so we know the
Yeah.
full story.
So Disney filed court documents in May saying that $50,000 lawsuit should be dismissed and resolved by individual arbitration because of terms Piccolo agreed to when he signed up for the free trial of the streaming service Disney Plus. The filing also says he accepted the same terms when he used the Walt Disney Parks website to buy tickets. So that's kind of doubling down and saying like you agreed to the same thing, right?
Now, I don't want to sound irreverent here, but is his name Piccolo? Like from Dragon Ball Z?
Piccolo, right?
Piccolo. I'm guessing
Piccolo.
it's probably Piccolo and not Piccolo from Dragon Ball.
No. I don't mean to. Yeah, look,
Piccolo?
'Cause I'm
everyone's-
just
there's a lot of
imagining.
people
I'm
talking about this. Piccolo.
imagining Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z grieving as he's
Like-
trying to file a lawsuit against Disney.
All right. So the filing included a copy of its terms and conditions. A section titled Disney's Terms of Use says that any dispute between you and us, except for small claims, is subject to a class action waiver and must be resolved by individual binding attribution.
Arbitration.
Or arbitration. I don't even know what all these words mean, if I'm being honest. Like in the legal world, what does waiver mean? It means doesn't work. You know, in the legal world, what does class action mean? I don't know.
He was a homeschool.
I'm not gonna say like I'm well versed in how any of this will play out legally, but I can't imagine Disney can get away with this. Not the fact that Disney published their statement. They themselves published that statement that says,
right,
we are going to settle this with a third-party arbitration. Third party, they own the arbitration, I'm sure. We're going to settle this with third-party arbitration because of what you signed. There's no way that in public opinion that was a good idea. And then in court, there's no way they can get away with this. Why?
Well, this is
Because somebody checked a box for something they didn't read on a free trial. There's got to be so many holes in this case that you could crawl through it like a mouse through Swiss cheese.
well, we'll
Yeah.
read the lawyers Piccolo's lawyer's response
You can
to
just say
these
Piccolo.
comments. Piccolo.
Mr.
And
Piccolo.
and also, but real quickly, let's read the kind of Disney trying to sound, what do you say, not resentful, just kind of gracious to the situation without so the company said that its position in no way affects any wrongful death or other claim the plaintiff may have against the restaurant. Disney added that arbitration is commonly recognized as quicker and less costly than litigation. All right. Yeah, for the company, for Disney.
Yeah, for
Right?
Disney.
For Disney.
They were like, I mean, like, this sounds like the restaurant's problem, not ours.
All right. So so this is kind of what the lawyer had to say. Piccolo's lawyer filed a response earlier this month slamming Disney's reasoning for seeking a dismissal as preposterous. They said he signed up for Disney Plus accounts on his PlayStation, but believed he canceled it during the free trial. This is his quote. There is simply no reading of the Disney Plus subscriber agreement which would support the notion that Mr. Piccolo agreed to arbitration claims arising from injuries sustained by his wife at a restaurant located on the premises owned by Disney's theme park and resort, which ultimately led to her death, the attorney said. All right. So this also, he called it, let's see, Disney Plus free trial account, which would forever bar the customer's right to a jury trial in any dispute, is so outrageous, unreasonable, and unfair. Right?
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
It's
that they're like, for all time, you hit the check mark for the free trial for Disney Plus, and for all time, you cannot sue us for anything that may ever happen ever. Anywhere on our parks or land or anything ever.
Well,
it sounds like something. It sounds like the little kid, a little kid making up a superhero. Mine's the best ever, forever, always.
Right,
Mine is.
right.
The most powerful superhero is Goku.
Yeah.
Which Dragon Ball Z and more Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Look, this is an extremely tragic situation for this family and for this guy. Disney is handling in such the least amount of grace and the least amount of caring for their customers.
Yeah.
And it's not, honestly, it's not surprising with how much bull crap Disney has dished out, not only the quality of the work, not only the hateful spirit of the executives and the organization towards the fans and people that have supported Disney as a company. It's pretty much like, if you are not constantly handing over your dollars and keeping your mouth shut, then we will demonize you and we're going to screw you and we're going to make you, if you want to watch Bluey, because we own it, you have to hit the check mark that says, at no point in my entire life can I ever sue Disney for anything ever again. Right?
Look, if you're curious, if you're a Disney fan, and you're looking at this and you're like, this is a little bit uncomfortable, but it can't be that bad. Do a little bit of digging for yourself. It's not too hard to find. Look at what's going on in the parks. Rides don't work. They're replacing long-standing attractions with new stuff that is going to take 5 to 8 years to build using money that they don't have.
Minnie's a Mexican guy.
Sure.
What?
Have you guys not seen that article that came out?
No. The
Then never mind.
the Star Wars brand is dying. The Marvel brand is dying. The Pixar and the Disney princesses and everything else that they own and are attempting to operate is failing. And and then you have a situation like this where a man is grieving for his wife, and they're like, well, because of this thing that you did years ago, there's no way that you can have any sort of closure or and there's no way that we are going to add anything to aid you
Right.
in any way
This
or take
happened.
any sort of responsibility. They deserve to be publicly shamed.
Yes. So this happened on the grounds where Disney operates, the ground that Disney owns. If it is a separate company that has some kind of contract to be there on Disney grounds, well, guess what? There are other contracts that basically cover that Disney's
Mhm.
responsible for what happens on their ground and their premises because people are there for the Disney park, right? And Disney's
Yes.
responsible for who and the quality of service that they allow in their park. So Disney is responsible 100% for this. I honestly hope that this becomes much more bigger news as this process rolls out, and I hope that people just really see the spirit of uh, honestly just hateful and it's worse than mean, this evil spirit
Evil.
that
Yeah.
Disney holds,
No, it's
right?
evil. They're actually an evil company.
And it doesn't
They
matter if they've made stuff that like warms your heart as when you were your child. They are not that. It's arguing they never have been that. They just knew how to manipulate emotions,
Mhm.
but it's definitely not that
Well,
today, right?
at the very least, they employed people who knew how to create. They employed people who knew how to tell stories, who knew how to animate. The Disney Imagineers knew how to design roller coasters and parks and murals and create an experience that people could go and enjoy with their families.
Mm.
And we're not talking about just adult Disney lovers going to these places and
Yeah.
literally taking up, more space than a human being has any right to. In all lines in it's bloated. It's
It's
bloated. It's terrible. It's
yeah.
dying.
It's dying 100%. It's hemorrhaging money. It can't afford a lawsuit where someone dies on their premises, and so they have to sneak into their
Yeah.
Disney Plus streaming service terms of agreement that you can't sue them for anything.
I mean, much like a lot of the people that attend the parks, Disney, the company, is morbidly obese and it is dying.
Yeah.
It's slowly but surely, um,
Dying
you know,
until
failing. It's on life support.
Mhm.
until Apple buys them out.
Mhm.
Apple
I
will buy them out.
I honestly think it might be very beneficial if at some point, there's a website or somewhere that someone who works in law, someone who works and understands like the way things are worded to mean certain things under the law. They had like a public site that's just like you can look up a database. What is a summary of the terms of service for Disney Plus? Like, what's a
Oh,
summary of the terms of service? That kind of thing. You know
if
what I
you're a
mean?
YouTube lawyer right now, reading
Ooh,
terms of service for Disney, reading terms of service
Would
for
be
Six
fun.
Flags, reading terms of service for basically any of these big companies, dude, go read it for all of the um, movie subscription.
and give a bullet point kind of summary, right?
Yeah, show everything, read everything, and break it down for the layman to understand.
I mean,
Right.
and do the iPhone too, because
Oh
I
yeah,
never read that one on the iPhone, and I want someone to break that
You
down
could
for
do
me.
you're never allowed to sue us if you happen to see what's going on in the factories in China, in
right.
Taiwan, and India. If you happen to see, you're never allowed to ever sue us ever.
That's actually a really awesome YouTube channel idea. Terms of service. Freaking someone snatch that up and start if you're a lawyer, just
Mhm.
you get so much money. Just what is the terms of service for TikTok really say, right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
It
Like
says,
videos titled like that you'd probably crush it in views and yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Let us know down in the comments what you guys think. If Disney's responsible for this, I think anybody with a heart, I think anybody with a brain kind of understands that Disney's responsible for this, and they're using sneakiness, cheekiness, freaking evil tactics to wiggle their slimy hands out of situations that they're responsible for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a woman has died. This is tragic. The last thing that should be on their mind is, how do we save a penny here? You know?
Yeah.
How do we save a penny here and not have to pay any money to this family who just lost their wife and loved one? That's crazy. But you know, with that, I believe that's all we have tonight. I believe that's it.
That's all, folks.
Let us know if you guys join us live here. Let us know in the comments. We love to see who's joining us each week. If you enjoy our videos and maybe you don't like to interact with us in the live chat, that's okay. But let us know in the comments at some point that you're here. We like to know who is here, and thank you for joining us on these live streams. We really appreciate it. Any final goodbyes? Anything you guys have to share?
Nope.
I don't know. Did you guys get that text I sent you? I sent you a picture of the Mexican Mini.
Okay,
It's
let's
an
not
actual
just
thing.
man for making money. You
mean,
gotta dress. You gotta dress up as Minnie Mouse and make it.
But that's an actual
right?
thing. People took photos of this Mexican guy that was in a
We
mini
all
suit
knew.
working at Disney
We
World.
all knew. Come on.
He's
The
got a
guy's-
full-on mustache.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
guy's he's trying to do his job.
He's not just a Mexican Mini. He's an old Mexican man.
He's out here. He's giving people hugs.
I mean, I definitely like when I go in to hug Minnie because I'm excited. I smell some tacoritos or some.
Yeah.
Shut up, Joshua.
Yeah.
We're going down a dark road.
Strong working hands. You know he's been on a roof
like some Mexican food.
or held a weed whacker or something. You know.
Right. That mustache has a story behind it, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks so much for joining us all. We'll see you next time. Appreciate it. Love you.